What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Burning Question podcast. Andy is not here with me today, so I have my choice of guests. And for some reason, as a Chelsea fan, I thought it'd be a good idea to bring a Liverpool fan back on after I thought we did such a good episode together last time, if I do say so myself. Mo, how are we doing?
I'm good, thank you very much. Thank you for having me on. How are you doing, Harry?
Yeah, good. Good. Green Arrow, can't complain. Looking forward to a nice double game week. The best time in FPL, especially double game weeks where there are, it's Bournemouth and Luton, right? So we get to have the whole, is it the right time to go in on double game week players? And every time, yeah, it is. Always.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, it's fun. This is the fun period of FPL now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to talk about the double today. I'm sure people watching have heard about the double game week a few times in bits of content over the past weeks, but we'll do it again. We're going to focus a little bit more on maybe some of the dilemmas that we're looking at, because I think the players to pick for this week are more straightforward than the players to potentially sell. So a lot of us are like, yeah, I like the look of this player, I like the look of that player, but is it worth selling certain players to go and buy them? We'll have a look at a game week 28 wildcard. We'll also have a look at a game week 30 wildcard sort of draft as well. Not really to look what it will look like, but just to have a sort of discussion about what we need to be planning for the future as well. Because although you might want to double up on Bournemouth, Luton this week, if you're free hitting in 29 and you need to look at Salah, etc., back in 30, it's not straightforward, is what I'm going to say. Looking at my team and trying to figure out a way to get Salah back in 30 or 31 at the latest doesn't look great, given that we have seen Salah back in training today, it looks like, ready for the weekend.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures, seen the footage.
So game week 30 is definitely one we'll be looking at getting them back, if not game week 31 for Sheffield United at home. How are you feeling having Mo back? You've done pretty well without him, but for a game like this weekend.
We've done really, really well. I mean, the whole team has stepped up. You've seen we've had a depleted team, and somehow we've won all the games, like including beating your team, Harry. I had to mention it, get that one in. But yeah, we've done really well.
You are lucky. Lucky.
No, you know what? I know we don't want to talk about that too much, but your team should have took the initiative in the second half where we were on the floor and you didn't.
Well, we did, but we didn't finish the chances.
No, in extra time you didn't.
Oh, in extra time, no.
Extra time. Yeah, that performance was shocking. It was a terrible performance by your team. So,
I've moved on.
You've got past that.
I've got past it. I need to start thinking about better things, like double Luton defence that I've got in my team this week. One of which has the vice captaincy armband, and we'll get onto that.
My God, double. That's going to be, I can't wait to see your team. But yeah, just to finish on the point, you said we need Salah for Man City. Yeah. I mean, it's all good. We've just about got by against Forest, and we've just about got by a lot of these games with a depleted team. But now for City, we need our heavy hitters. We actually need Núñez and Salah big time.
Yeah. Núñez is the big one. Of course, got you the win at the weekend. Let's have a look. You have Núñez in your team as well. Bit of a nice segue. Talk me through your team for the weekend. Smashed it. 94 points with a -4, but still. What were your transfers this week? And yeah, talk to me.
So last weekend, I had a lovely week. I took a -4. I've got Areola in goal. Very fortunate that it was between him and the Newcastle keeper. I mean, they both returned. But I got jammy on that one, to be fair. Keepers have been a nightmare. I think we all agree.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pain. The first defender we're going to talk about, Harry, I think you've had some pain. I've had some pain, and it's Trippier. He got 1 point. The one time they kept a clean sheet, he came off before 60th minute. I don't know about you, but I was on the ropes when I saw that. Honestly.
It was. I know people use the statement, "If you don't laugh, you'll cry," but that is really how I felt at that moment. I was like, I've held you through thick and thin. I played you in the blank where you had Arsenal and you didn't do anything. And now I played you here. And then the worst bit, actually, was Livramento coming on and scoring in his place. And I thought, no, that's not fair.
That could have been trips.
That could have been.
Honestly, he's been, and we're going to come on to this to next week's team, he's been a thorn in my team. In fact, my whole defense has been painful. But I'll continue running through and we'll get back to it. So Gabriel, I think everyone's either got one Arsenal defender, so there's not much joy in one clean sheet. So Zebriani, I bought him in. The Bournemouth, I went 1 week early. And the reason for that, Harry, is I had Stupinan. And honest to God, I've run out of patience.
Yeah.
Seriously, I took a -4. He was the one I took a -4. Very rare you take one for a defender, especially a non-attacking one like him. But in my case, I was going to get 0 points from Estupiñán. I had no bench. I have to make the changes. And in this case, I thought I'd be 1 week ahead. He's good to have for a double.
Yeah.
So made that move. Unfortunately, he paid me back with a clean sheet, a rare Bournemouth clean sheet, but we'll take it.
Was there any consideration of Senesi? Of course, Senesi owners have got incredibly unlucky. Like, there was the whole thing about the yellow cards, but it doesn't look like he's going to be back until at least
That's
after
what
the break.
put me off, Harry. He was the better choice, 100%. I looked at him. In fact, I wasn't going to look past anyone. It was the yellow cards. And that's simple as that. And the price, very cheap as well.
Yeah.
It's not like there's much price difference, but still, of my team value, I need to, wherever I can scrape the little 0.1s. But so that was just pure luck. That's the reason I took him in. I just wanted someone, and he played 90 minutes every game.
Yeah.
Because what's been happening to me, Harry, I've been bringing in these players, even though they're bench fodder or you put them on the bench, when I need them, they don't play. And I've been stung too many times this season. So I want to bring in a player. I don't care if it's only 2 points or if I really luck out, it's a clean sheet. I'll take it. So that's the reason I bought him in. He's got that stability.
Yeah.
After that, Foden, obviously outstanding performance. Very, very lucky. Thank God I didn't consider moving him on. Odegaard was the other move. So this is the reason the minus happened, Harry. It was KDB to Odegaard.
Yeah.
And Estupiñán to Zebriani. And Odegaard again paid me back. Could have got more points.
That Arsenal game, as owning just Saka and him punishing my rank, I was just like, God, this could have been so much more. I almost went for Odegaard. I didn't. But yeah, they looked so good once again. And Brentford at home this week, you must be looking at it thinking, I'm glad I've got a double up on them.
That's the reason I've done it. And the double up is very interesting with, the triple up, I should say, with Arsenal, because you can go double defense or double attack. And I've gone for the attack. Arsenal at the moment, irony, they're the best attack and best defense. So you could actually just take your pick. It's not like the Saliba, Gabriel owners are losing out. But from my perspective, I was desperate to try and get gains from their attack because Saka is very highly owned. And as you can see, I really went for it, Harry. I went Saka captain, which you thought Trippier nearly made me cry. Yeah, you thought Trippier nearly made me cry. Well, with Saka's substitution, I did cry. Honest, it was so annoying. And to find out he was sick.
I think he was all right. I just think they rested him.
And you reckon that was the PR just so fans don't get on the case. But the reality is, imagine how frustrated I was. He could have scored in the first minute, hit crossbar.
Yeah, it could have been so much more.
He could have, I'll be honest with you, in my head, I calculated I could make, when I saw Haaland only got 1 goal, I calculated in my head I could make 20 points on Haaland this week from this game. I knew Arsenal were going to destroy Sheffield United. So to see him come off, it was such a pain. That was the big, even though it sounds like I'm moaning, I've had a good week, but that hurt me because that could have been ultimate gains. One of them game weeks that you get once in a season. Yeah, but he got taken off. Palmer, just so consistent. So happy with him. I just love him as a player. He's one of your bright sparks this season in your team.
Best signing of the season.
He's going to be up there. I saw you tweet that before, and I was trying to think, is it the best signing? I'm trying to think around.
A lot of people think.
Yeah, McAllister's a fair shout.
And then Rice Rice has been like recently.
Rice is expensive, but he's been incredible.
Yeah.
Like he is. I didn't know he was that good. I know a couple of people have been telling me for some time, especially West Ham fans, how good he is. I didn't know he is like unreal.
It's top, yeah.
And then Haaland, well, we all got Haaland. Then Darwin. Yeah, I knew he was substituted, but look at my bench. I had no one to play, so I played him. And he came on, and typical of Darwin, scored the hardest goal, Harry. Like the easy ones, he scored. That header was unreal. Such a good goal. So I'm very lucky there. I'll take them 5 points. And then Watkins, who I think is the player of the season so far.
Yeah. Just
ridiculous. Like goals and assists. He's like the budget Haaland.
The fact that he's done it without pens as well is crazy. Imagine if he was on penalties for Villa. How many goals would he have? Like an extra 5 on top of what he's already got.
Unreal. Like the season he's having, I mean, I know we've got Harry Kane, but Watkins surely has got to be there as the understudy. He's having that season. He's so good. Like you could see the confidence in him now. So he finished off my team, which gave me 94, but -4 obviously. So 90 points. It was a lovely game week for me.
Yeah, smashed it. People are asking in the chat how you decided, because to be honest, if I had Areola and Dubravka, I would have started Dubravka this week. And in theory, it would have been the right choice. You can't predict a penalty save.
You can't. No,
West Ham conceded and Newcastle didn't. But
the thinking behind that was, Harry, for me, I couldn't handle. Simple as that. Different. I couldn't handle the pain of the double up. I've done it a couple of times this season, thinking I've still got last season's Newcastle in my head, or the start of this season where they're just so good defensively. That Newcastle is dead. Like their attack is good, maybe a little bit with Gordon, but the actual defense is finished. So that's the reason. I couldn't risk the goalkeeper as well. I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I look at mine and the Kaminsky transfer I made in their first double in game week 25 continues to pay dividends for me because I didn't want to start in this week. So I had to start Areola. If I had not made that transfer, I would have had Dubravka and I still would have probably played Dubravka.
You think you would have gone for him? You would have gone for him?
I don't know. Maybe with Trippier, I would have decided to do something different, but it would have been close. Because I had Kaminsky, I had no choice. Like I was not playing double Luton defence at home to Villa. I had Doughty in my defence, so happy with him.
So just by owning him, he came in clutch for you, basically. Exactly. That's what you're saying. Even though you didn't start him.
Because I didn't want to
use him.
Exactly. I didn't want to play him. I made a -4 this week. So I took out Hwang Hee-chan and brought in Son. But I didn't have enough money to do that because I still had the injured Trent on my bench. So I sold him and brought in Zabanyi, who was actually on my bench this week. But I needed the money and he's now set up well for next week. Unfortunately, I benched Anthony Gordon for his goal. Never bench Gordon at home seems to be the motto that we've got here. Every time he's at home, just play him, no matter who the other ones are. But yeah.
So that was
86 -4, 82.
That's not bad.
It's a small green arrow. It's not quite 90.
Yeah, it's still very good.
Yeah,
very, very good. And the position you're in, you're still flying, mate. So you're all right. I needed this. I need about another 3 game weeks like this to try and help me, honestly.
Well, doubles are the way to do it, right? Doubles are the way to do it. If we have a look at the projections that we've got for this week, so this is from an account called RobT FPL on Twitter. Basically gives you the predictions of all the games that we've got, and look at some of them. Right, Arsenal predicted 2.75 goals this week, the highest of any team that we've got going into any particular game. Of course, Bournemouth have a higher, but they play twice. And then, of course, and then Bournemouth, 4.65 across the double predicted goals. But, you've might be getting Solanke, presumably getting Solanke. We'll get to your team at the end. But double Arsenal attack as well. Your team looks pretty set up well for this week. But yeah, Arsenal and Bournemouth, the ones that really do stand out here.
That's the reason I went the double Arsenal attack, Harry, is because the Sheffield United and Brentford. I think Brentford defensively are all over the place, and the combination when you put that's like the stars of a line when they meet Arsenal, who are playing so well, they're gonna get. I see 3 or 4 goals there. That's the honest truth. The only thing that worries me, unlike this week's game, is the Champions League game. They got Porto. So if they are winning 3 or 4-0, players will be coming off. I mean, you could argue you took them off against Sheffield United, but in this case, even more so.
Yeah, I agree. I actually thought it was this midweek, which is why then when I saw Saka came off, I was like, oh, that's fine, but it's not until next midweek.
Yeah.
So
it's after this game.
Yeah, the Brentford one. The interesting thing on here as well is actually Luton are not predicted to score that many goals. They're predicted 1 against Palace and 1 against Bournemouth. I mean, I'd probably be surprised if they only scored twice in this double, but maybe only 3. And I think it does highlight the difference between targeting Bournemouth and targeting Luton in this double. They're, the odds, the predictions do have Bournemouth as a much, much better double than Luton. But the assets, we struggle for the assets in Bournemouth, and we'll go through them.
That's the big problem, yeah. That's the exact big problem there.
So we'll talk mainly about the double game weekers today, but looking at this, is there any other, single game week team that you particularly look at? The other one that stands out for me, I mean, if we look at the teams that play in 29, right? West Ham predicted almost 2 goals. So a Jared Bowen this week still looks like a really good buy. And
he's a really good pick, if you own him. I'm quite jealous of that.
Yeah, agree. The Paqueta effect in full force.
Yeah.
And then Villa Spurs as well, both predicted almost a 2-2 draw in that game. You don't want to have your defenders, basically, but you want as many attackers as you can get.
I agree. Yeah. Does that mean we class Porro as an attacker if he's fit, or is he a defender?
Probably a defender now. He's not on any set pieces, or unless
I've seen a lot of talk about potentially Watkins making way for these doublers, but I really like him against Tottenham. I don't see that defense withstanding Villa's attack.
No, I agree. We spoke when this game happened earlier on in the season. We spent all week, the whole bit of content was Son playing against the Villa High Line. Like we spent
Yeah.
a week, if you remember, just
Yeah.
talking about the Villa High Line, and it could happen again. Son's back up
Yeah.
front.
Yeah.
He's going to be running in behind. Villa attack more when they're at home as well. So yeah, I think there's definitely investment in both that game and in West Ham as well this week.
Agree. Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're not free hitting in, like you said, 28 and stuff, and you want to play that plays in both, that you just touched on them already.
Cool. So just before we move on, G-Wiz is asking in the chat, it's probably worth us both clarifying our chip strategies. Just before we do that, if you are enjoying the stream, if you could make sure you've liked and subscribed to Fantasy Football Scout, that would be fantastic. I basically have to free hit. I've got like 5 players in that week, and one of which is Charlie Taylor. So I'm going to free hit. So I am targeting Bournemouth more than I'm targeting Luton. What's your plan?
Same, free hit.
Yeah.
You've got 5. I think I've got 3. So, and I made up my mind when I saw the Arsenal v Sheffield United. You know, those transfers I made, Harry. So I made up my mind that week. I'm going to attack the Arsenal 2 games where I'm hoping the people that are not free hitting can't have them. So that's the edge I try to get. But yeah, free hit definitely 29.
Cool. And the reason that's important, of course, is if you are free hitting in 29, Bournemouth, you can go heavier on Bournemouth because the double is better. And after the double, the fixtures are nice, right? Up until about game week 33, 34, when most of us will be looking to play our wild card. They have Everton, Crystal Palace, Luton, then Man United at home in the ones after that. Whereas Luton have a fixture in 29, but after 29, their fixtures do get a lot worse. So your chip strategy does sort of dictate which route you're going to go down. Cool. Yeah. So let's get the players up from them. So what we've got here are the ones that are sort of most popular over the course of the week so far. And as we said at the beginning, and I don't know if you agree, Mo, but as I say, it feels quite obvious who to buy. If you want to take a punt on a midfielder, the midfield is the place I look at where I don't know who to buy. But outside of that, I think it's reasonably straightforward.
I mean, the only thing I will say, I think you've got the second slide as well, but at one stage I thought Solanke is definitely the best option. Like you can see he's top of the list there. But Morris from Luton is not too bad, you know. I mean, I know we're gonna talk about the Luton players after, but that's the only one that threw in, not really made me think hard on it, but I would like to have him as well, but obviously I can't fit him in. Yeah. But for me, Solanke is the only, like if he wasn't free hitting and you're trying to get by with say 7 players in for 29, I would still get him in for this game week, if that makes sense. If he's one of the ones that would still interrupts your plan or whatever, I would still get him. He's the one doubler I think that who could hurt you this game week.
Yeah, so that's probably the only question I have is if you're not free hitting in 29 and you could only buy one of Solanke and Morris, I just still think I couldn't go without Solanke this week, despite Morris saving you a -4. I just still think I would just go Solanke for a week and take the hit next week. Just those 2 home games, the captaincy on him is going to be massive. If there's anyone in the chat not going to captain Solanke this week, like please let us know who it's going to be on, because it's going to be huge. It'll be 200% ownership.
And that's another reason. I know you shouldn't buy players on fair or EO or whatever, but it is going to be, it's so obvious at times. I mean, I'm a perfect example. I'm trying to find that edge if I can go against Haaland as captaincy. But even me this week, I don't think I'm considering anyone else. I think it's Solanke. It's a close shot, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree. Have you got any? So you say you've made a transfer already. So spoilers. There are a few other Bournemouth players that we look at outside of the attack. Solanke and Morris are the 2 most exciting picks this week, I think, by far.
By far. This is a double where it's not the traditional where we've got loads of options. If you're looking for the ones with the biggest potential. I mean, when I looked at Morris, Harry, I was very impressed. It's 4 returns from the last 5.
Yeah, it's looking really
it's
good.
Like 8-2, 8-5, 11. Like, that's incredible. And he takes penalties. He's such a lovely shout. It's just a problem of fitting them all in. And if you've only got the 50-50 choice between him and Solanke, I still would go Solanke.
Yeah, it's the captaincy that just, yeah. So we'll leave midfielders to the end, but we'll talk about defence and goalkeeper first. Of course, Kaminsky and Neto, to me, it completely depends if you need them in 29 or not. I think that's fairly reasonable. If you're buying a keeper this week and you need them in 29, go Kaminsky. But if you've got an Areola or something, Neto looks much, much better this week.
Yeah.
As we saw with the market odds that we've got, it looks like the Bournemouth clean sheet chance is so much higher than Luton. So it's worth it long term to go Neto.
You have to be in a
week.
pretty nice position though, Harry, to have the transfers available with the amount of injuries and stuff we've had, to have the transfers available to be able to do a goalkeeper move. I mean, would you do a -4 for a keeper? No.
Not if you've got because Areola's fixture is so good and like half the game own Areola. So if you're looking at a goalkeeper this week that has a good fixture, you've got an Areola. I don't think it's worth a hit. Areola to Neto doesn't feel like it's massively worth, or your second keeper to Neto isn't worth a hit. The only thing on that though is the fixtures afterwards.
Yeah,
in 30 and 31
and
and 32, Areola has Newcastle, Spurs at home, Wolves away. Like, you might not get the gain out of Neto this week, but you might get it in the following weeks when Neto has Everton at home, Palace at home, Luton away in that same run. So I don't think it will pay off this week, but I do wonder if it's good for the long term to have Areola and Neto as your two goalkeepers.
I totally agree. The fixtures are lovely. Bournemouth's next 5 are just really, really good. But again, the hit for that, and especially as a player that won't be playing 29 as well, there's this. Yeah, don't add up for me on that front. If you're fortunate enough and your team's in such a good place, then it's a decent pick. But yeah, not for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Into the defence. Again, Bournemouth's does look much better, but there's not really that exciting a pick in the Bournemouth one. The one that stands out is Kirkes, who should play both, but he's not 100% nailed to play both. They have a couple of other options who have filled in that position. Kelly, who is their mainstay left back, is injured, so you could take a punt there. But Kelly could be back in 30, so you are just creating, an issue for yourself. So it is a little bit boring, the Bournemouth defence.
I think the defense is not great at all. I mean, realistically, Harry, like I said, I've got Zebriani, so have you. And when you think about it, like, where's the points? No attacking returns, realistically, if we keep a clean sheet. And even though the next 5 fixtures are lovely, it is Bournemouth that not much clean sheets there. So, yeah, it's not ideal. Again, it's the sort of one you can do to bring in and you can leave them on the bench later on because they're not too expensive and utilize them whenever. Say you look at your starting 11 and you see one of your defenders playing Man City, you can just swap them in for one of these guys. But yeah, I wouldn't take a hit. I don't think.
No, I don't think there's anyone in this double that's worth a hit apart from Solanke.
Well, you know what? I'm contradicting myself, Harry, because I've actually taken a hit and one of them is a defender. But my reasons are extreme. Some of the viewers might agree or disagree because I've had horrendous defense, which has cost me so badly the last 5 game weeks. Basically, no one playing. It's Stupinan now, Trippier, Lascelles. I've had to take hits now to try and repair this. So that's the reason. That's the mitigation against me saying I wouldn't like to do it, but I had to.
To be fair, let me rephrase that. I don't think there are any defenders or any players outside of Solanke that are worth a hit in 28 alone. So there is reason to take a hit for a Luton player because it benefits you in 29. There is reason to take hits for Bournemouth players if it benefits you in 30, 31, 32. But I'm not sure the hits will pay off this week for anyone apart from Solanke. But your aim is to get the hit back from your Bournemouth defender, maybe this week, but also in 30 and 31 and after. And Luton, if you take a hit, you're hoping to get part of it back this week and part of it back next week. But if it was just this week, I don't think anyone apart from Solanke is worth the hit.
Agree. Yeah.
But, there is the longer term.
If you're in a good place, but if you're like me and you had a Stupinan and Trippier, I've taken a hit to bring in one of these defenders. So a Luton one at that.
Yeah, exactly. So Lalex is saying taking a hit for Raya to Kaminsky. I mean, Raya can't play this week. So you are effectively going from 0 to 3 fixtures over the next 2 weeks. So there are, certain situations that it is worth it. So that's, I mean, the only other defender is, do you look at, you have Doughty already, or you bought Doughty this week?
I just bought him this week already. It's the first. That's the spoiler. I've already gone early, Harry. I had to go early. So Trippier, I was so annoyed after that game. And I looked at my defense. I can't be certain Porro's going to be fit.
Yeah.
Lascelles doesn't play. So I thought I'm going to make a move and I'm just going to be aggressive. We've just spoken about not taking -4s for a lot of these defenders, but I went for Doughty.
He's exciting.
So I haven't done the -4. It's only a move. The -4 is going to be Nunes to Solanke. That's more than likely. But I had to do it, Harry, because it's, like you said, a bit more exciting. Gives me something to try and enjoy this double game week. But also, I'm fed up with these players that was costing me money. Trippier's expensive, and Stupinal was expensive, and they weren't returning.
Yeah.
And plus, I need money in the bank because I'm preparing for Salah for after the international break.
Yeah. No,
so Trippier to Doughty put a lot of money in the bank, so I'm ready for that move.
Doughty is, if you're going to watch their games, Doughty, you want Doughty on your team. It's so much. I've enjoyed watching Luton play even more owning Doughty on my team because he's on all crosses from that side. He's putting more crosses than any player in the league so far this season as well. So
he's got 8 assists, Harry. I mean, that's impressive. You know, like very rare you get. It's only a premium. We're talking Trents and Trippier that you'd expect that from. No one delivers. It's 8. I mean, looking at their clean sheets, of course, it's grim. So I'm not trying to make him sound like Roberto Carlos, but you do have a chance of it. I put it this way. I don't think the odds of getting a clean in those two is pretty slim, but the odds of getting maybe a return assist is pretty good.
Yeah, it is. But then I suppose I don't want to tell you that I wouldn't have done your transfers because you freed up money doing it, so it's a little bit different.
That's the reason, yeah.
But if you had, a lot of people will have a City defender, and is an Ake to a Doughty worth the hit? I find that harder to answer. I probably would because of the fixture, and I probably would hit them to a Bournemouth defender as well because I don't expect a City clean sheet. So you are hoping that your Bournemouth defender gets 1 clean sheet or Doughty gets 1 return to pay it off. So I probably would.
Yeah, that could pay off. You're right. That could pay off only because you're gambling on they basically have Liverpool at Anfield and a blank and then Arsenal. So you're right. Yeah, it could materialize. You'd expect Liverpool and Arsenal, whether they win or lose, to get a goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that could work. Yeah, it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
A City defender to a Luton defender.
It's what we do for the doubles. It's what we do.
I was about to say that. It's what doubles play with our minds, honestly. That's a crazy move.
And that's the other thing about this week for the double is because of some of the other fixtures we've got. Because Liverpool play Man City.
Yeah.
Spurs play Villa. And Newcastle, Chelsea. So a lot of the defences that people have got investment in are not great this week. And even like Charlie Taylor, the one who sits on people's benches, is away at West Ham, right? So it's not even like he has a really good fixture that you could just play him. So that's why the double game week defenders look appealing on paper because you've got not great options. Like if I didn't have the defenders, like I would be playing Trippier away at Chelsea if he wasn't injured or Taylor away at West Ham. So the rest of the game week also contributes to making the Bournemouth and Luton players look more appealing.
Definitely, 100% agree. When you look at the fixtures, you can't see much clean. I mean, we've not seen clean sheets hardly anywhere anyway, Harry, to be honest, but especially this game week.
Yeah.
Now we've said this, watch there be loads of 0-0s, but yeah, I don't expect that. No, I think it's a worthwhile. I think this is, if you are going to do it, I think this game week here, the odds of getting something back in a double game week, the probability goes up, even for teams like Luton and Bournemouth. So hence why we're in there.
Yeah. So we haven't touched on midfield, and trying to buy a midfielder this week feels like picking a straw out or I don't know what the expression is, picking a needle in a haystack or, trying to find the winning lottery numbers, it feels like this week.
Yeah.
There will be ones that do well, particularly I look at Bournemouth and think there might be ones in there that do well. If Semenyo was a midfielder,
he'd be considered.
He'd be the one, I think.
Yeah.
He's looked really good and he's playing on the wing, but we don't have forward spots for him. So Tavernier,
Kluivert, Tavernier. At one stage, I was pretty keen on Tavernier. Then I made the mistake of looking into just some of the numbers and how it's been. It just made me think, what am I? At least with the defenders, the formation I'm playing on my team setup, Harry, I could leave them on the bench and it doesn't matter for that price.
Yeah.
But like these ones here, I couldn't make the case for bringing them in. I can't see the returns.
No. So
I mean, well, you might get lucky. You could go for one. Clivert or Tavernier, look the two. One of them, you punt on one of them.
So I did consider it this week, but I'd have to bench someone like Foden, and like that just feels crazy. The more I watched that City game at the weekend and thought, everyone's got midfielders like Son, Saka, Palmer, Foden. Like, you're not benching any of them, really.
You can't bench him. No, you can't. You can't bench him. I mean, I'm a Liverpool fan and he's starting in my team. I mean, I don't mind if he does nothing, but he's playing. He's having that season, isn't he? You can't. Again, it seems crazy. I know double game weeks were really tempted, but I don't think anyone in that midfield is worth the risk to remove Foden or bench him, I should say.
Does anyone at Luton, because I suppose they play in 29, so non-free hitters might, if you have a Hwang in your team now, would you buy a Luton defender, a Luton midfielder, or would you buy a Bowen, a Douglas Luiz instead?
If it was a midfielder, I'd still buy one of them. Yeah, a Bowen, 100%.
I'd go Bowen, over any of those Luton midfielders.
There's just not much there for us, no.
The only one is Chong, but he picked up an injury at the end of the last game. So we just need to check that he's okay. His returns, 2 assists and a goal in his last 3 appearances.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
It's
He'd probably
right,
be the one
right.
I'd go him over Barkley, I think now. Barkley's playing really deep with Lokonga out.
Yeah.
So people will look at Barkley, but his returns have not been great for a while. You could go there, but playing deeper, I'd probably punt on Chong if he's going to be available. But I mean, what's the max you're expecting? Like, they're predicted 2 goals, maybe 3 max in the double.
You could get an assist. I mean, like as I said, we know Morris is playing well. He's a threat. I thought they would have suffered with Adebayo injured, but he stepped up. He's put his hand up and delivered recently, so he's been good. So someone could feed him. You get the assist there, but just it don't sit well with me. Partly because of what you said, the movement of removing excellent players, although they've got 1 game week. I can't make the case for it, if I'm honest. But obviously, it always depends on your team, your structure. Or some might be wild carding and thinking they can get a couple more in. We're not, so yeah, not for me. I like from Luton. It's either the irony is the top 2 on the list, Harry, Morris and Doughty. They're the 2 I like from Luton. Apart from that,
no, I'm the same. I
think if you had to order them, so give me your top 3 double game week 28 players, Harry. So include Bournemouth and Luton together. So your top 3. Don't worry about the price or positions. Like, just if you could pick. Yeah.
If I'm free hitting in 29.
Yeah, you can add that as well. Yeah.
If I'm free hitting 29, it's Solanke first, Morris second, Neto third. But I'm picking 2 strikers there. If I'm not free hitting 29, then it's probably Solanke first, Morris second, and then Doughty 3.
That's my 3. Yeah. That's the 3 I like. That's the 3 if I was going to pick. Makes sense for me. If I was putting a bonus 4th one in, I'd put in a Bournemouth defender or a keeper.
Yeah.
That's it. But they're the 3, I think, from the double game week 28 players that we could look at. Morris, if somehow people could get him in, I think is a good shout this week. It's going to be a nice differential offer. People can't get to him. So naturally, it's a nice pick there.
So there's been several questions in the chat about the same transfer that is going around that people are considering. Would you sell, if you're not free hitting 29, would you sell Erling Haaland this week to buy Morris?
No chance. Not for me.
Would you not?
No, that is a very aggressive. No, I've heard you discuss this. I've seen at first I thought it was a joke. And then I'm in a couple of groups, the FPL groups, and I saw some serious managers discussing it. So I thought, okay, this is not a joke actually.
Yeah.
But for me, Harry, no. I know he doesn't play on 29, but we're free hitting. So of course that doesn't affect us. But I can see if you're not free hitting, I can see the temptation for 3 game weeks. But I think Haaland is maybe more dangerous in these games. These games are so vital to the Premier League. You think City they're gonna be on. I hope he blanks against Liverpool, but I'm scared of him. He's going to be. I have Haaland always scoring 1 goal at minimum. That's how I see it. Is Morris going to, at minimum, 1 goal? It has to be. I don't know. I wouldn't do it, Harry, to answer that move, but I have seen it. I can see the thinking behind it as well. So I'm not having a laugh at it, but not for me. And then I've got the headache of buying him back as well.
Well, you'd buy him back on presumably people who are not free hitting are wildcarding, so you'd get him back on wildcard. But the price.
Would you do it? Would you do it, Harry? Are you considering that move?
I'm not, because I'm not free hitting. I'm free hitting, so I don't get the benefit of next week. Yeah. And I want Haaland until I wildcard, so it doesn't work for me. But would I do it? I suppose the caveat is you do another transfer in 29 instead. So in theory, I probably would. I think.
Does Morris score more points across in those? Is it 3 games
versus Haaland's 1?
Yeah,
I probably would.
That's going to be there's going to be a good one for hindsight when we go back and see this. Yeah,
I probably would do it.
People are doing that move though, and as I said, there's a rationale behind it, but not for me. It doesn't fit in for me, so I wouldn't do it now.
The only caveat is it depends when you're wildcarding, because if you wildcard, because there's the whole wildcard 30 versus 31 debate. Because if you wildcard 31 and you've suddenly got Morris, I think he's away at Spurs that week in 30, and you don't own Haaland. Now Haaland is, I think he's got Arsenal at home, I want to say. Is it at home or away?
Haaland's fixture on 31 is Arsenal.
Arsenal at home in 30. So you'd probably want Haaland that week, but you could go without him for a week. I probably would do it. But
as long as Villa after that at home.
Yeah, but you'd wildcard 31. Like as long as you know you're going to have him for 31 on a wildcard, I'd probably take the gamble on it. It could, go horribly wrong, but I probably would.
I think this is the hardest part of FPL. Like, if I'm honest with you, when you can see past the fear of not owning a player like Haaland. That's the honest truth. We've seen what he's done to us just via captaincy. Because I've seen certain games when I'm thinking maybe there's a better alternative, but no one dares do it. And it's similar. This is an interesting one. Like you said, Morris could work out better, but it's the fear of not owning him. Imagine watching Super Sunday, Harry. Liverpool. He's just such a powerhouse, such a scary player. He could turn up at Anfield and score 2 goals. Like, it's
very possible.
Yeah, let's hope it's not possible, but
let's hope it is.
No
offense to you, but for my FPL team with no Liverpool and double City and everyone selling Haaland, who's not free hitting next week, I could do with Haaland getting a couple of goals this weekend.
Unless we score 4 or something, then okay, I'll accept it.
I'll be wearing my sky blue at the weekend.
Chelsea fans.
We haven't got anything else to celebrate at the moment. We just celebrate someone else's.
Apart from Liverpool losing, that's not acceptable.
Exactly. But after you've beaten us in 3 cup finals, we'll celebrate your downfall.
Yeah, I know. That is mad. That is...
Anyway, so we don't want to talk about my club. I went on the Off the Bench podcast on Tuesday, and it was great. We just don't talk about Chelsea anymore. Like, we don't have enough time to go through all the games, and like Chelsea just get left out now. We're just one of those games where people just don't bother talking about it anymore. And I'm just like, you know what? Like, that's fine. I don't need to sit here and talk about us dropping points once again.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Very briefly on a wildcard draft this week. Most people playing a wildcard this week are not going to free hit in game week 29 because a wildcard straight followed by a free hit doesn't really make sense. So you'd either free hit and then wildcard after, or etc. So we have got a wildcard draft here. This is Andy FPL Mode's wildcard. I like his draft as things go. It's got 6 doublers, so Neto, Zabanyi, Solanke. Then of course it has to have triple Luton because it helps you for 29 as well. It's got double Arsenal. It's got no City, and it's got no Liverpool. As wildcard drafts for this week go, I quite like it, but I find the strategy this week really difficult because you're then probably rolling your transfer in 29. You're still not putting out a full 11 of players. And then you're going into 30 thinking you need to straight away get Salah in. You need to be getting, Haaland in soonish. Now, this draft has a reasonable amount of money in, but I struggle to see that it benefits you so much in the short term. Now, if your team is full of injuries, then it does benefit you enough, and that's the caveat. But it seems like a time to wildcard if you need to really do surgery to your team rather than for any other benefit.
Yeah, I think the wild card, surely, I'm not sure if, I mean, Andy's having a good season, so he's clearly thinking straight. It's not it's not under pressure decisions, but so he's thought about this carefully. I'm not sure if it was the injuries that pushed him over. I can't remember what was Andy's reasons, or was it just like
he had a couple of injuries and then not loads of doubles as well, I think.
Okay, all right, so he's killed two birds with one stone. Then it makes sense. I mean, it looks good for this game week. Let's just say that he's fully committing for this game week. But I'm not sure. How does he get all the other players back then after he's left money in the bank?
There's loads of money in the bank.
Loads of money. Okay, so that gives him the flexibility to move for Salah and Haaland straight away. Okay. Then it's not too bad, actually. He's kept a double Arsenal, which means he's enjoying the Brentford, of course. He's clearly concerned there. Would you have done that if you was wildcarding? Would you have still kept the double? I suppose you just can't get rid of those.
Saka and Gabriel feel like just such locks.
Yeah, I was about to say you can't even. But I just thought, is it something he could take the opportunity? No, you can't. Not against Brentford.
And you'd have so much value. If I sell Saka or Gabriel now, the thought of getting them back for about 0.5 million more than I bought them for.
It's interesting he's kept Watkins as well over Haaland. I'm trying to think.
Watkins is an interesting one. Yeah, Watkins is one that people are looking at. It's because he plays in 29. But Watkins is one that people are looking at in game week 31 or so that might have to be the sort of cash cow because they don't double ever. Villa will not double. And from 31 till the end of the season, they have City away, Arsenal away, Chelsea at home, Liverpool at home, Brighton away. The only better fixtures, they've got Brentford at home, Bournemouth at home, and Palace away on the final day. You can understand why people will use him as the make way, but it will not be easy to do. That's
such a hard sell.
We did it this time last year as well, and
it's such a hard sell, Harry.
Yeah.
I mean, is that a move that you're actually considering as well? Or are you just thinking about what the feeling within the FPL managers? Is that a move you're thinking about as well?
It is. So what I've now got up on screen is a game week 30 wildcard draft. And the reason I think it's useful to look at this is what non-wildcarders, so those of us free hitting, will need to build towards. And the midfield of Salah, Foden, currently Son, but it's probably a Spurs mid, Palmer, Saka, with Haaland up front, it's very difficult to then afford Watkins as well. You basically can't.
Is Zakassi up front?
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's 15 goal contributions. They have a decent run from game week 30 onwards.
They have nice fixtures. They have nice fixtures. He's an excellent player, but he's injury prone. He's burnt me this season, Harry. I jumped in, I think I've tried to own him twice because I really rate him. And I missed all these points. So I'm a bit wary here.
But I suppose the only positive is they only have to play once a week now. Until
isn't there some way you could own Gordon instead of him and just put someone else there? But then you have to
drop one of those mids and finding one of those. That midfield five is going to be very template. Salah, Foden, Son, Palmer, Saka.
It is going to be very, very template. Yeah.
So
there's something will pop up. There'll be opportunities for us to be able to. Yeah, there'll be opportunities for us, whether it's injuries forced upon us or somewhere else. A team comes into form.
Yeah,
Gordon could be the one. Gordon versus Palmer is going to be. Oh, but Chelsea have the doubles. I can see.
And the fixtures for Chelsea, like in game week, like we play Burnley at home, United at home, Sheffield United away, Everton at home, Brighton away, and we have 2 doubles still to come.
But just Watkins, that one is an interesting. Watkins having that season. Have you just seen his assists, Harry?
Yeah.
Like he. Sometimes I know double game weeks and fixtures do cloud our judgment. Well, not cloud our judgment. We need them to make our decisions. But Watkins, I don't know. I'm going to think about that one. I more than likely have to. Someone's got to leave.
Someone will have to go, yeah.
Someone has to go. You're not going to get rid of Haaland. No, the team challenging for the Prem. But
yeah,
that is a very good question. When we reach that stage, I'm not looking forward to that.
The other thing that makes me look at this draft and think is the defenders. Like the defenders on that people are planning on buying in like 30 or 31 still just stink. Like Gusto is one I'm actually considering for my team.
Gusto looks good. Yeah.
Gabriel, of course, for Arsenal, and maybe we just double up on Arsenal. But the defenders, there's still no one that we really look at and think, yeah, you're a lock apart from an Arsenal defender.
I totally agree. The three that were really well, we had Trent, then he got injured. He's too expensive. We had Trippier, who was doing not bad at one stage, injured and not delivering. Newcastle struggled. We had Porro, very exciting, been injured recently. And Spurs don't really keep clean sheets much. Then we had, who's the other one? I think Gabriel. I was going to say not exciting, but in corners, he's ridiculous. He's
After that
best at set pieces.
Warm weather training with their new set piece coach,
they've come back like prime Barcelona, Arsenal. But yeah, you're right. The defenders, and this is possibly the reason why I'm moving on. I mean, we had Estupiñán as well. He's hurt us, so I think a lot of us are scarred for these expensive potential defenders who can give us attacking returns. I mean, Nori. Is he something, Harry, that we could consider? I mean, I see him on the bench there as well. So
yeah. I mean, like it's fine, and Wolves will have a double at some point, but it's not massively filling you with confidence. They've been all right defensively. They've been all right, but yeah, this is it. And as G-Wiz said, like Watkins doesn't make the cut. It is hard, and it will be difficult because at the end of the season, when you've got 6 game weeks left and a team doubles twice in them or doubles once and Watkins doesn't and he has City away, and you think there will be times, if it was this point earlier on in the season, fine, don't sell him. But it is the final chance to try and make up, that little bit of ground. It's also the final chance to lose ground if you sell a player who does really well as well, though.
Yeah, I was about to say, but I suppose depending on where you are in your mini leagues or overall rank, whatever you're chasing, that would dictate how aggressive you play or how safe you play.
Yeah.
At the moment, moving Watkins on seems like an aggressive move more than a safe move because he's playing so well.
I agree. And as Noah says, would I sell Watkins to Semenyo for a hit this week? I wouldn't be considering selling Watkins to a hit for anyone, particularly against that Spurs defence at Villa Park as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. So that was sort of all just to cover the things and get people thinking about what it's going to mean for our teams going forward. I suppose talking what our team's going to look like going forward, we've got our teams up on screen now. You've already confirmed a transfer in this screenshot of Trent out and Doughty in.
Yes,
you have more plans. Of course, there is currently no Dominic Solanke in this.
He will come in for Darwin Núñez, the obvious position. You know how much I like him as a player, but unfortunately, he's been one of my downfalls this season. I've owned him since game week 8 wildcard. I know it showed you how I wasn't being ruthless enough, and I was one of the managers that was thinking surely next week.
But he makes you think that, and he can
does.
Do it.
He does. Well, he scored the hardest goal. I mean, if you see the finish against Brentford, only a psychopath will do that chip that he done. I can't work this guy out. The header, he scored 2 headers this season. Unreal, world class, I'd go to say headers. And then the easy ones, the one-on-one, the second one-on-one versus Brentford. I nearly, like the memes you see on Twitter and stuff where they break the TV. I was just like, what's this guy doing? It's like he was mucking about on the park. But anyway, he's going to have to make way for Solanke. It's an easy move for me. That'll be the -4. Yeah. The Trippier one done was very rare. I go early, Harry. You know me as a manager, but I've done it partly because I was so annoyed with him, but also I thought he was going to go down in price, and my money is not great. So I'm trying to save the money for Salah or any other premium that comes available. Could be Son.
Yeah. So I haven't made my transfer yet, and I've got 4 doublers in place in Kaminsky, Zabarnyi, Doughty, and Solanke. My starting 11 looks pretty good. If this was any week, I'd roll the transfer. But because I'm free hitting next week, I've got to use my transfer this week on something. Now, we've heard reports that apparently Trippier will be back in game week 30, roughly. But I think he's good, but I don't think he's worth 7 million.
He's not. Nah.
If he was 6 or 5.5, then maybe I'd have more of an inclination to keep him. But I just think
he'd be a keep. 5.5, definitely, Harry. Like 5.5, you can keep him.
I just don't think I'm going to find money for Salah unless I sell Trippier. So I think Trippier will go this week. And I think it's either Gusto or it's staying on Newcastle and going to someone like Botman. One
You're
of
not
those
put
two.
off by Newcastle the way they're defending, Harry. I know the fixtures have been tricky. They've been really run down with injuries. But literally, I can't remember the last time they kept a clean sheet.
Yeah. No, I agree. Which Gusto's probably my number one. They play Burnley at home in game week 30 as well, which feels really nice. Because I think defenses look a little bit weak in game week 30 because Arsenal play City, Luton, who will all own, are away at Spurs. There's not loads of great defenders for us who are free hitting in 29. So adding a little bit of strength and depth in my defense for that week does help a little bit.
Yeah.
So Gusto at home to Burnley that week will be, and he's 4.2, so cheap.
You can see the difference in our teams, how well organized and your planning is. Look at you've got a transfer spare and you still got all of the players that you still got. You've got Son, you've got 4 doublers, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, it's because I went heavy on Luton for their first double, which didn't massively pay off. But now I'm happy that I've got them. Like, I think I got 1 from Doughty and 5 from, or 6 or 7 from Kaminsky. Like, the Kaminsky one was okay, but the Doughty one.
Well, he paid it back because it made you play Areola. So simple as that. That alone is
paid it off. Yeah, it's true. G-Wiz is saying, yeah, that's why also buying Bournemouth defence this week is helpful because they have Everton at home in game week 30. So. Yeah.
So if you made the transfer, if Gusto say came in, he just goes on the bench.
Yeah.
Strictly a bench move, okay, to get ahead.
I mean, it's really the least exciting move I've made. I'm making Trippier out to Gusto to sit second on my bench. Like, I don't see anything else. I could buy, I could go Gordon to Tavernier or something and try and be exciting, but I don't see who I'd bench.
That's the problem, yeah.
And then I still have the issue of money for Salah in game week 30 or 31. So Reece James is meant to be late April, if not into May. So we should, the plan is to wildcard in about game week 34, 35, which is game week 35 would be the 27th of April. To be honest, I don't really need Gusto past Monday, the 15th of April, where we have Everton at home, and it doesn't sound like he'll be anywhere near that. So, or I just play Foden, exactly. So it doesn't make sense to go and buy another doubler, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where you could get. The only one you could, but it's Haaland to Morris. It's the only one, actually, believe it or not, on your team, because it means you don't drop a midfielder, so you can play them. You don't have that headache, and leave the money aside to bring Haaland back in.
Yeah. But then it's just another transfer. Yeah, I suppose because I don't get the benefit from Morris next week in the Forest at home game, which is actually his free best hitting.
Game. Yeah. I see your point. That it mitigates against that. Yeah, it's a shame because the way your team is set up, you've got the luxury transfer. You're in a position you could actually attack that. You really could. It just means reversing it and losing small value and unnecessary
extra transfer.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could see in your team. Yeah, so you're not going to touch that. You're too safe a manager for that, isn't it?
Exactly. I think I've attacked it enough. My attacking it has now become template, and that's what I like to see.
That's because you was ahead. I was about to say that. Yeah, you went early. Yeah. What do you think of my team for this game week? What do you reckon?
So I suppose the difference is I've got Son away at Villa, where you've got Odegaard. Effectively.
Yeah.
And then the difference in goalkeeper. I mean, it's nice. I do really. I hate seeing Odegaard score and not owning him because he does really well. I think he's a good option. It actually makes your life in game week 30 easier because you can do Odegaard to Salah.
That's the plan, Harry. Yeah.
So I can't do that because Son has Luton at home that week.
Oh, so what would be your potential route?
I don't know.
Okay.
I might have to wait till 31.
Okay. All right. But have you seen Salah's playing, isn't it Brighton and then Sheffield United?
Yeah, so I definitely have him for Sheffield United.
Yeah, there's no way on earth you can go into
that game. It's just whether it's worth the transfer in 30. But I think he's the best. I think Salah's the best captain in 30.
That's my plan as well. Yeah.
At home to Brighton.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it's not him, it will be on Son.
Brighton are not serious this season. I'm not quite sure. At one stage, De Zerbi, we all fell in love with him. We love his style of football. But at the moment, I can't even take him too serious. Not quite sure what you don't know what you're gonna get. And if they don't turn up correct against Liverpool, they're gonna get a good beating.
Yeah, it's true at Anfield as well. So
yeah,
that's the thing. I don't actually have an obvious route to him unless I was to sell. I mean, I have to sell one of those midfielders, which is crazy.
that is crazy. Yeah,
I
Palmer's
could
got the doubles. Foden's in the form of his life. Saka's, my God,
going nowhere.
Yeah, that's impossible. Yeah.
If I sell Palmer, he's the cheapest, so it makes it difficult, and he has Burnley at home that week. I could sell Gordon. I think I am just short, so I could do like a second transfer and free up the money and do Gordon up to Salah for a hit. It's possible, but Gordon has West Ham at home that week. So it's difficult. I have routes to it. It's just which of those would you sell? And that is the story of this FPL season. We are selling good assets all the time to buy other good ones.
Like, I'm jealous I don't have Son. I saw last week and I saw the game. He could have hauled big time.
Yeah.
Like, he really could have, and I'm concerned again. Such a good player, but I can't get him in. I took the gamble and went for Odegaard. But like you said, it does make my life easier with the Salah move. So
yeah,
that's the plus. There's no headache there for me. King Salah comes straight back in.
Yeah. As Dewey
says,
that's
the reason Trippier had to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's probably the sensible thing to do because it gets me really close. I could basically sell almost any midfielder I wanted to Salah for a maximum of -4. I mean, I could go 3-5-2, but I still have to sell one of the midfielders to fit Salah in. And it might be Gordon, but Gordon's predicted if they lose in the cup to have a double in 34. So if they get that double in 34, am I really selling Gordon? That's the other thing. But maybe I go back to him.
I was about to say, there'll be an opportunity. Something will come up in FPL with all of our planning, an injury or someone's dropped. But I've not owned Gordon all season and he's killed me. He's been incredible. So cheap, so good. Him and Palmer. I had a choice between one of them and I went Palmer. So
yeah, I mean, Palmer's been electric, but Gordon's been one of those that's just gone quietly about doing his business so well this season. Might be on the plane in the summer. We'll see.
Who? Gordon? Yeah, but maybe.
We're lacking left wingers.
I think Rashford, it'll be tried and trusted. Rashford will be there. If Grealish is fit, he'll be there as well.
It's true.
And Foden might have to be left wing as well, Harry.
Yep. Maybe.
To fit him in. I think I saw that little discussion. I know don't want to get sidetracked to the England best 11, but how else are you going to fit Foden in?
Yeah. It's basically it feels like one attack, one of those front positions, which is up for debate. Do you play Foden wide and play someone else central, or do you play Foden central and drop Bellingham deeper and play?
Nah, I don't think you drop Bellingham deeper.
Nah,
you lose what he's doing this season. It just don't make no sense.
No. Anyway, those are our teams. Nice boring transfer for me, slightly more exciting for you. We've got time for just a few questions. If people have got them about the double, we can rattle through some of those in the chat. So what do I think of Muniz going forward? So, I mean, he's looked really good for Fulham. I wouldn't sell Watkins for him, as Rishi is asking, but I do like Muniz. The issue is fitting him in our front line. But 4.5 million could be a really nice option for the rest of the season if you're playing 3-5-2.
I'm not going to repeat what you said, Harry. I really like him. He's been playing really well, but where do you fit him in? There's 3 spots we're really stuck. Haaland and Watkins are difficult sells, and at the moment, Solanke takes the 3rd spot. Maybe when that spot's available, we can look at him if we want to free up the money. But
what are Fulham's fixtures like for the rest of the season after the blank? Because of course they have a fixture at home to Spurs. They're away at Wolves this week, and then away at Sheffield United in 30. Their fixtures towards the end of the season are not great. I was wondering if he could be the 3rd forward, but
they've got good fixtures now. End of the season, I suppose it's a bit random. At the moment, they've got a nice little run. Wolves, Spurs, Sheffield United, Forest, Newcastle, West Ham. They've got decent fixtures.
I do like him, but difficult to find room to fit him in. When will we know for sure about the doubles in game week 34? We're hoping that we know by game week 30. So after game week 29, when they clash with the cup, it's then the international break. So they effectively have 2 weeks to work it out. And then game week 30 is only 3 weeks before game week 34 starts. And they do say they should give 4 weeks. So we should know, emphasis on should know. Of course, when they announced the Liverpool-Luton one, it was announced much later than we expected. But yeah, we should know by game week 30, which makes the game week 30 wildcard better. But if we don't know by game week 30, people might be forced to push the wildcard back a week. Where else? What if you had Kabore, would you play him this week? I suppose the doubt is if he starts both.
Yeah. And if you've got no choice and you don't want to take a hit, then you throw him in. Why not give it a go? But
would you
might
play
get more information?
The question was from Paul, would you play Kabore or a Stupinan this week?
Oh God. Who's Brighton got again?
Forest at home. If a Stupinan plays in Europe on Thursday, then you definitely can't start him at the weekend.
Yeah. Maybe my answer's a bit biased because that Stupinan's done my nutting, but I'd play Kabore.
Yeah.
Long as they try to get some information, I think closer to the deadline, hopefully we get a bit better understanding of who's going to be started, predicted teams and whatnot. But
Luton have injuries everywhere at the moment, so the rotation risk is a little bit lower on him.
I just think the Stupinan's an easy sell. Like, you just have to get rid of him. I don't think I can't make a case for him. I don't know about you, Harry. I don't care about fixtures or what. It's too much headache there.
Yeah, I agree. Rishi's just saying, if Man United and Newcastle get the double that they're predicted to in game week 34, Isaac Hoyland and Haaland will be the front three over owning Watkins. And that's the thing. It's about when doubles start to come in that, someone like Watkins will be the one that people will look to move, even though he's been so incredible this season.
That's going to be a good part of the season for us. For us that are trying to make gains, there's good potential. Whenever moments like this come up, I look at it as good potential for us, because you're right. A lot of managers who are going to be scared to move Watkins on or whoever it is, but these guys have got the doubles. There's big potential for us. And that Hoyland, before he got injured, Harry, he was looking good, huh?
Really good.
He was looking really good, Felt sorry for him. Start of the season, a young player coming into the Prem, playing in a dysfunctional team. Everyone was criticizing him. I could see the memes. But some of those goals he scored, and then once his confidence kicked in, my God, he looks a little player there.
Question from Michael Scott. Haaland, Watkins, Tony, not free hitting in 29. Which of these three would you sell for Solanke? Because, of course, Watkins and Tony both have the fixture next week. So he says, would it be Haaland? I mean...
I've already given my piece on Haaland. I'm not sure if I'd want to sell him, but he's not playing. If you've got a plan to bring him back, did he say he's going to wildcard?
I presume he's going to wildcard. Michael, if you're going to wildcard, then probably Haaland.
Then go for it. That's the one. It makes sense. Yeah.
If you're not going to wildcard, I'd probably ditch Tony. They look all over the place.
Yeah. Even though we all rate Tony, Brentford are really struggling. Like bad. The good news with Brentford, though, we should discuss, Harry, is Wemos looks like he's back in training.
You know what?
That could be Is that correct, or is that fake news?
No, it is true. We don't know how long. Like, he might be back, and he might be an interesting punt in the.
I was about to say, he could give us something exciting. Yeah, he could be.
I thought you were going to make a Ben Mee related joke.
Oh my God! No,
how he's out for the season. They're going to be without their Ben Mee for the rest of the season. But sorry, that's the only thing that comes across my mind.
I was not going to get you started on Ben Mee jokes. I've been trying to dodge them on Twitter. I don't want to get them on burning questions.
Dear. Question from Eddie. Would I go for Doughty? Would I do Doughty for a Stupinan or Saliba? For a Stupinan, will Senesi and Trippier be fit? So that's two-part question. Senesi and Trippier, we're not expecting to be fit.
Yeah.
And I would sell a Stupinan for Doughty, and I would not sell Saliba.
No chance selling Saliba. No chance. That is the easy transfer for you. Yeah. Just press that button and enjoy.
Yeah.
Not seeing his Stupinan in your team is just as much fun as owning another player that gets points. Trust me. He's that bad and too much pain. Just get rid of him.
Cool. One final one. Would I start Douglas Luiz or Phil Foden this weekend? Phil Foden away at Liverpool. Douglas Luiz at home to Spurs, but we know what Douglas Luiz is like at home. Thoughts? It's close.
It's close, and I think think I'd go Foden.
No, I think I'd go Foden as well. I just,
Yeah.
just the form he's in, and I think Pep said it really well, is that he's now at the point where he's getting City points, where before he was a great player and he was contributing well, but they didn't rely on him to win games. But he is relying on Foden to win them games at the moment and get big goals. And I just want to bench him.
I think that's partly Pep, basically, Harry, because I think Foden was misused a couple of stages. Because I thought he was, even though he's young, he looked mature enough the last couple of seasons. Look, we all know it as a player there, but he was almost 1 minute right wing, 1 minute left wing, 1 minute he vanishes for 6 weeks. I mean, how can you build up momentum? But this season, he just plays every game. So he just looks a play. I couldn't bench him. No, even against Liverpool, our team, we're getting players back, but we're still not. I know we're one of the best defenses in the Prem, which shocks me actually, because I watch our games. But I can't see him not causing problems. I really can't.
Cool. That is all for today's stream. Of course, as always on Burning Questions, we never remember to plug anything. So if you haven't liked and subscribed, that would be great. And the link to Mo's channel is in the title of the stream. So if you want to go and check him out, that would be greatly appreciated. And Mo, thank you very much for coming on. I hope you get some good points. I also hope that my Man City assets get some good points this week as well.
Don't worry. As long as Liverpool win, I hope your players get back. You always get points in FPL, Harry. You don't even need no luck. I'm not going to wish you good luck. I'm only going to wish myself good luck. I'm the one that needs it.
Our teams are very similar, so I'll get some secondary luck from you.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, but yeah, thanks for having me, Harry. Really enjoyed that. Hopefully, the viewers, everyone enjoyed that as well. Got to answer some questions this time as well.
Perfect. And yeah, if we need a guest between now and the end of the season, I'm sure I'll be knocking at your door again. Thank you all very much. Please make sure to like and subscribe before you go, and we'll be back again next week.
See ya. Bye-bye, everyone.